Hey Townies, I'm Philip, and you're watching the Mountain City Show. On today's segment, we're going to talk about how city people and small town country people are exactly the freaking same. We are the same. Whether you want to believe it or not, we do a lot of the same stuff, and I can prove it to you. So if you can, stick around, become a resident of the mountain, hit like and subscribe, and let's dive in. Welcome, all you wondrous mountaineer people. Thanks for sticking around. So today, we're going to talk exactly why we are the same. Country people and city people. And I have a few points. So I live in a small town. I did live in a city for about 6 years. So I can tell you exactly how we are pretty much kind of similar. So one big point I want to make is, do you have apartment buildings? Yes. When I was in South Florida, the big thing down there was gated communities. There were gated communities everywhere. So you have apartment buildings and gated communities and neighborhoods just like we do, but we don't have gated communities. We don't really have that many apartment buildings. We have a few, but it might be like 2 floors, maybe 3 on occasion, but not much, right? But the same concept is still there. So that means that if you live in a gated community, right, or an apartment building, you are going to gossip, and you're going to know people who are around you, right? So let me give you a great example. So say Holly and John across the street are having a domestic dispute, and the police arrive, right? So here's the difference between city people and country people real quick. So city people will all stay in their house and looking out through the windows to be nosy to see what the hell's going on. Where country people would just walk right outside the house and be like, I don't know what the shit you all got going on, but you need to handle it. That's enough. It's enough of this. No, we ain't doing that. So that's one thing. But don't tell me that the city people don't still sit there and look, ooh, what's going on down the street? Oh, what are they doing? Right? I know better. It's bullshit. Yes, you do. Right? And here's another example. So say you go out and you're talking to your neighbor. Hey, neighbor waves. Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? You know, and you start bullshitting, and it'd be like, man, did you hear about freaking Tom and Holly down 2 blocks over on the corner? Right? So don't tell me that bullshit. You do it too. You gossip about your neighbors and everybody who's around you, and we all know it. Because, I mean, I was there. You do it. Just like we do it in a small little town. The difference is a lot of people know each other around here. So that brings me into another point. The other point is that I will bet that, you know, there's like 15,000 people in the town behind me. This is a town, right? And I will bet that even though you live in a city with like 10 million people or 5 million people or 2 million, whatever it is, you still probably only know about 30 or 40. You know, I mean, maybe 50, which is the same for me. I only know about maybe 50 to 100 people in town. You know, and that's only because of where I work. You know, that helps that number go up even more. So, you know, you still have your own little clique of people that you hang out with, regardless, and that you know, regardless of how big your area is. Right? So there might be 5 million people who live in town or live in the city, but you're only really knowing about maybe 50, maybe 100. You know, that's it. So it's the same for us. The only difference is, you know, you have a lot more, we have a lot less. Right? But we are the same when it comes to that. That is true. We are the same. So we're the same about gossiping. We're the same about freaking how many people are in your circle that you know. Same clique of friends. And we also, when it comes to gossiping, it doesn't matter if you're in a gated community or if you're in an apartment building. The same damn thing can happen. Man, you go out and, hey, there's your neighbor across the hall. Hey, did you hear about John or Bob? You know who I mean. He's 3 floors down on the corner. You got the corner place, you know what I mean? Floor 7, you know, so don't tell me that y'all don't gossip, because we do the same thing. The difference is we're in a small town, right? But you do the same thing. It's just there's a lot more people, right? The other thing that makes me laugh is that if you live in a house in the city, you know the people up and down your streets. Like, you know what kind of vehicle they drive. You know, just like I know. So that means you know the sound too when their vehicle comes up, right? And if you're standing there in your house with somebody and they'd be like, oh, what was that? Oh, that's the neighbor. He lives about 5 doors down on the right. So don't tell me you don't do the same thing, because you freaking do. You do. You got to admit it. There's not that big of a difference between us. We still all do the same things. We still all want the same things. Like we want everything great for our family and our friends. We help each other. So if you live in a northern city, here's a great example, right where I live. All right, so my neighbor, all right, she was my neighbor for 10 or 15 years, 10 years, 15, somewhere around there. Anyway, anytime it'd snow, I had a snowblower. So I would go do all my neighbors because they didn't. And a couple of them were elderly, so they can't go out and shovel snow. So I got a snowblower. And men like freaking power equipment. That's just the way it is. You have to get over that. We love it, and that's just it. So if we can go out there and just snow blow for hours, we're happy, right? So, and it's the same in the city. Like that, there ain't not much difference between the men. So the men in the city, he's got a snowblower. The neighbor down the street, a couple doors down, is elderly. He's going to go snowblow out her driveway and her sidewalk for her, right? That's just the way it is. So we are almost exactly the same on a lot of important things. The only real difference between us is here's a good difference. So when you want to go on vacation, you want to go out to the country, or you want to go to the beach and get away from everybody. Us, being in a small town, when we go on vacation, we like going to the beach or cities. That's what we like to do. So it's just the reverse for you. You like coming up in the country and enjoying all the rivers and the lakes and the mountains and the trees and all that, where we like going to the beach and going and experiencing new restaurants in the city. So we are so much alike that you can't really knock it and say we're not, and you can sit there and be like, well, them country people, they talk slow. Do I talk slow? I ain't talking like this. Hey, thanks for coming. No, we don't talk like that, because I don't talk like that. You hear me talking like that? I might have a little twang to me, but it's not that big of a twang. And you know what? It's just from where I'm from. And you can have to get over that. But we still have the same. We're the same. We do the same shit. We're people. It doesn't matter where you live. You're going to gossip. You're going to know your area. You're going to know the people around you. You're going to keep your little clique no matter how big your town is or your city. It doesn't matter. And that's just the way things are. So right there, I just proved to you how much we're alike. And I'm right. I'm right. Hey, thanks again for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button and become a resident of the mountain. Thanks again.